The latest episode that I've been able to see was Buff Bagwell. He is actually one of my favorite off of WCW. I know you had like NWO. He was in NWO. Diamond Dallas Page, Booker T, Harlem Heat, all those guys. But one of my favorite during that WCW run was definitely Buff Bagwell. And I always wondered, I didn't necessarily remember when he disappeared from wrestling. But I ended up watching this show and it was pretty dope, man. I'm just glad that he's alive and well because like most of these dudes end up on drugs or something like that, and they end up dying at an early age or steroids end up dying on early age. But I just wanted to go into the breakdown of this story, and like I said, for this week it was Buff Bagwell. So the way that Buff Bagwell, how this documentary started out for him, he came up with a pretty good life. His pops was a like a race car driver, so they was pretty wealthy. They had money coming in, and at some point he started having a little too much money. He was doing drugs and all this type of stuff, and he started having a little too much money, and it got in over himself, and he ended up starting to lose money. So this when Buff Bagwell, as I want to say, he was like a teenager or something like that. He was looking for ways that he can help out the family because he was a mama's boy. He was looking at ways to take care of the family or whatever. And once they started losing money in the family, he started getting into arguments with his dad, and no, the dad started arguing with the mom like they was having big issues up in the family. And one event, it got so bad that Buff Bagwell had to go get a gun and tell his pop like, "Don't put your hands on my mom. I'm gonna have to shoot you." And he went in there to get a gun. The dad went to go get his gun, and Buff Bagwell just shot him, man. So he damn near almost killed his pops at an early age as a teenager. So they kind of fell out with each other somewhat for a little bit or whatever. Um, as Bagwell, like I said, was a teenager, he was still looking for ways to make money. Him and his dad made peace back then. I think he said they didn't talk for a while, but just that's I mean that's a rough way to come up. I understand like being a mama's boy and all that, but just to have to shoot your pops and during there kill him, that's kind of rough. As the story goes on, like I said, he was in high school. He was looking for something. What could he do to bring in some type of money? And I guess he couldn't figure it out. He met a girlfriend there. He had a high school sweetheart that he met in high school, of course, and they started being involved with each other. I want to say that she knew somebody that was in a wrestling business or something like that, but he didn't take it serious, so he overlooked it. Graduated high school. He decided, you know what? I'm a good looking type of dude. I'm working out. I'll go be a male stripper. So this was something I ain't know shit about. My boy Buff Bag was a male stripper, man. He's up in Chippendales and shit dancing as a teenager. So yeah, he started his life all kind of rough, man. He was a male stripper and stuff like that. Um, Ends up running into another woman while he's being a stripper, and they say, "Yo, I know somebody in the wrestling business as well too." So now you got your girlfriend telling you this, and then you got an older woman saying, "Hey, they both telling you the same thing. Maybe you should try this wrestling thing out." Well, the bad part about it was Buff Bagwell was struggling for money, so he had his girl. I think he said like she was a part time stripper. They both wasn't bringing in enough money, so he ended up cheating on her and messing with this older lady. So finally break through, get to the wrestling business, and when he first comes in, he did singles for like about a year or two, and they started looking like, yo, we need to like kind of maybe put a belt on this guy. And this was in WCW, like they already had most wrestling places. They already got they stuff set out like who's the champ. They're gonna be there. They're gonna be the champ. This the box office dudes. We're gonna keep the belt on them for as long as we can, maybe a couple years or so. So the singles run came to an end. He was like, you know what? Let's put him together with this guy named Too Cold Scorpio. He was a dope singles dude, but they end up meshing pretty well together, and they put them in, and they won the tag team championships. I want to say against like the Nasty Boys or something. Now, Nasty Boys was big and WCW and WWF, so this was a big step for him. As he started winning championships, he started getting a little bit too much more attention. So he broke it off with his other girl, this other girl he was involved with. Um, she caught him cheating and stuff. Same thing, just like the previous lady. So he moves into another tag team after they ran his course with Two Cold Scorpio. Becomes I want to say like two model type dudes. Cause I say he was big and a nice looking dude, and he was working out. So they America's top models or something like that. And I said everything was going well, but he wasn't satisfied with the way his body looked. He said like his arms looked big, chest and everything, but he couldn't get his calves to look big. So he ends up getting calf implants early in his career. The calf implants, they said it was about to damn near bust because it wasn't cooperating with his body right. Like he could barely walk on them, but they look nice. So he's thinking he got the complete body, but it's like, dog, I can't even go to the bathroom. I can't sit on the toilet. I can't shower. I can't do nothing because like my legs is giving out on me, and it's because these implants. So his partner takes him to the hospital. They had to do emergency to take those implants out because they said they damn near we're gonna have to amputate your legs or you can keep these in and just see where it goes. And he said at one point he was so like addicted to the way his body looked that he was thinking about just keeping them in and letting his body play it out. Thank God they removed him. He was able to work his body out, get back together, whatever. I think that's why he wore pants a lot. You know, most wrestlers wear the tight shorts, the tight drawers or whatever. He wore pants a lot, so it covered up his calves. Just a little something that he wasn't comfortable with as far as what his body goes. So as the story goes on, that this is when this is when NWO is coming about, and finally they're like, you know what? We want to keep you around. We want you to be a big part of the NWO. So we're gonna have you turn on your teammate and join with us. So that's what he did. He turned on his teammate. He became a new member of the NWO. And at this point, Buff Bagwell is one of the well-known NWO people outside of Hogan, Nash, and Scott Hall. Is Buff Bagwell? He like number 4 on the list. So as he's starting to finally get the recognition that he's always wanted in the wrestling business, he does a move with Rick Steiner where he pretty much breaks his neck like 2 or 3 months into his NWO run. I didn't notice. Like I said, NWO it was going on for so long that I didn't catch like the beginning. I want to say ends up breaking his neck. He's out wrestling for about 9 months or so. So like with most wrestlers, when you ain't got shit going on, man, you just want to be a part of it still. So 9 months later, he was able to get back in there, but he wasn't able to perform. So he brought his mom in, and they were doing like little cutting promos and stuff just to keep him active because he didn't want his buzz to go out. And that went on for a little while, and until I want to say his mom ended up passing away a couple years later. So when she passed away, he would start thinking like, "Yo, like, what am I gonna do with a wrestler right now? Because I want to still be a wrestler, but I just lost the biggest person in my life." He continued to do wrestling for a little bit. WCW ends up being sold to WWF. Now at this point, he's like, "Damn, now I ain't got no fucking job." Vince McMahon ends up actually taking Buff Bagwell and puts him on WWF. And I want to say he only lasted. I want to say he said like a week or a week or two, and it just wasn't the same as WCW. Me personally, I always felt like when Vince gets people from WCW or these other promotions, he's going to make you look like shit just to show you that WWF is superior. And I think that's what he did with Buff Bagwell, and he pretty much agreed. That's what the way he was saying it was like they really wasn't too fond of me. They didn't try to push me like they could have pushed him. So, anyways, he's running out of money now that wrestling's out the way. I think he said he did wrestling for a couple of more years, and it wasn't the same as just doing like the little small promotions. He gets a call from a TV show, this Gigolo show. Now, at the time, he's married. I want to say again to his second wife. Um, he tells his wife, like, "Yo, I gotta do this for some money because I mean, we ain't how I'm gonna pay the bills." Anyway, he's telling them like, "Yo, I ain't gotta have sex or anything like that. It's pretty much like soft porn." And she wasn't feeling it, but she knew the bills had to get paid. He ends up doing this show. after the show ends, they tell him, "Hey, we would like you to stick around on the show." But this time, he starts falling in love with one of the women on the show and tells his wife, like, "Look, I'm leaving you. I ain't gonna be able to be with you no more. I'm gonna be with this lady." So it's kind of fucked up. Um, when that shit happens, this is when he's like I said, he's done with wrestling. He's done with the whole gigolo thing or whatever. And he gets into a bad car accident. He went sober, so I didn't know much about this, but like once you stop taking drugs or drinking or whatever for so long, you can like start having like withdrawals, like reverse withdrawals, and that's what he did. I think he said he was driving home, and he ended up wrecking and like destroyed his whole face, his whole body, like he was unrecognizable. And at that point, he was like, you know what, I'm still gonna stick to it. I'm not gonna be drinking. I'm not doing no drugs or anything like that. So he stood to it, and he ended up getting married again. He's been with that lady since then. A part I did leave out. Another thing that messed it up with WWF was he had a when he first got there, him and this dude named the Hurricane, Shane Helms, they got into a little altercation one day before he went on for his first fight, and he ends up smacking Hurricane because he was talking crazy to him. He goes to walk away, and Helms throws a damn ice bottle at his head and busts his whole damn head open. And he had like 25 stitches. So he had to fight his first fight versus Booker T in Raw with his head bust open. But I think he said he like sharpied it to make it not look like you could see the stitches or whatever. And he said from that moment on, like the people WWE was looking at him different, like he was a troublemaker or something. So that put on the plate of nah, we cool on Buff Bagwell. But overall, as far as the documentary, man, this was one of the better ones because it was talking about a lot of positive stuff. He was able to reverse all the bullshit he was going through, like with the drug use, the steroids. Like you can tell with Buff Bagwell, he was that dude, man. And just to see that he's still around, it was dope to see that. So Buff Bagwell on Dark Side of the Ring is a must watch. I know I'm all over the place. I try to break it down as much as I could. Like I said, there was so much going on, but yeah, check out Buff Bagwell. It's on Vice, I want to say. Buff Bagwell, Dark Side of the Ring. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. I'll be doing these breakdowns for the rest of the season. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Meet You for the Midwest podcast on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook.